So nearby, Brad and Nisha, and third person off camera who can't speak much. For reasons that we can't talk about. Who's your favourite X-Man?
I like Angel.
That's the first time anyone's ever said that in response to that question.
When I was young, I had this weird obsession with having wings, so I liked Angel.
I mean, I'll just go with an obvious, I've always liked Wolverine. And it's just
That's the proper answer.
That's correct.
That's a real answer, Brad. Fucking hell.
Is Wolverine, but
sorry, I'm not allowed to be different.
I love Wolverine. But I also like Hugh Jackman, so...
That's fair.
Prove it. You're a dick.
According to the comics, Scott Summers, aka Cyclops... Wait a minute, I haven't read this. Yeah.
Crack the cans on.
Oh yeah, go on, everyone crack your cans. And mysterious third person off camera. What are you drinking right now? Yell it out.
Dragon soup.
And what is dragon soup? And don't say it. So people don't know, like British people don't, like we drink like we want to die. And dragon soup, I think, is the ultimate example of that, because it is just a mysterious third person off camera. Just read the not the ingredients, but what it contains in terms of alcohol and caffeine content.
Oh god, 7.5% volume alcohol.
So a glass of wine, but it's 500 ml.
35 milligrams per 100 ml of caffeine.
Yep.
There's 500 ml.
Yes.
So 175
grams of caffeine. This is a can of Monster and a bottle of wine in one, and it's like just E numbers out the fucking wazoo. And the only.
Strawberry and lime.
Did it taste alright?
No.
According to the comics that he hails from, Scott Summers, aka Cyclops, is a mutant with a latent ability to fire city block obliterating lasers from his eyeballs. While admittedly Cyclops' most visually impressive ability, a secondary ability Cyclops has actually makes him really good at, of all things, pull.
Does he have a special cue called Lucille that Jeffrey carries around?
Yes! Lucille! So I was about to ask, what's your favourite moment of someone playing pool? And when I was expecting you guys to what? I was going to Lucille!
I have no idea.
Have you not seen that clip?
No.
Oh.
The thing is though, imagine if he did that and he whipped out the fucking baseball bat from Walking Dead, and Uncle Phil just starts shredder comboing everyone.
No one messes with my nephew.
That's what I was imagining, getting Lucille.
Jeffrey? Break out, Lucille.
What's what makes it so funny now to watch in retrospect? So people don't know, in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Uncle Phil is a pool hustler. And just the bit as well, just getting a perfect shot eating a sandwich. So What
about that slow-mo clip that you put online of you getting hit in the balls?
Oh yeah, when your boyfriend was like, hey Carl, I'll show you a trick. Put a 20p piece here, I'm going to pop the ball. And there's just a slow-mo shot of me getting hit in the knackers by a pool ball.
You fell for that?
I've never seen it before. So just and I did it well. I recorded it in slow mo because I thought it'd be really cool to see it happen. I would go, and you just I'll find the video and put it in as video getting whacked in the knacks.
You're a smart guy. Someone's stand there. I'm gonna put this thing in front of where this ball's going.
Here's the thing. I trusted him. I'm a trusting person. I'm not anymore.
That's what did it.
But so Cyclops is he's a very popular character. Actually, no, he's not. He's a character. Let's just say that because a lot of people don't like Cyclops because he is the designated wet blanket of the Marvel universe, where he just hates life.
Don't you get it? I'm sick of the responsibility. I'm sick of being den mother to a bunch of quibbling children. I can't do it anymore.
But he is a very well-known character in Marvel canon, and he's had a lot of stuff going on over the years. He was a terrorist for a bit, and then he lost his eyes. No, he lost his eyesight, and then in the comic he lost his powers. He started using a gun. Which I think as well just shows
Was the gun strapped to his face?
I don't know, but it shows how pointless his powers are when his powers can be replicated by a gun anyway. And then he was he was in charge of the X-Men for a bit, and then he was a vigilante for a bit, because comics are weird like that. But yeah, any favourite Cyclops moments, characterizations in various bits of media?
My favourite version is the one whose powers get put into Deadpool, the best version of Deadpool.
That's the thing, yeah.
Angry comic fans here.
That is a version of Cyclops, and the Scott Marsden version is great because he plays him like such a fucking square, and I think that works for him. But the problem is that he gets overshadowed by Wolverine, which is very meta because that's what happens in the comics. So Wolverine is cool, he's gruff, he's the loner, he's the badass, he sleeps with all the girls, he breaks all the rules. Cyclops is the Boy Scout, and as a result, just always gets shat on. And I think there was that breakdown of is Scott Marsden the singular most shat on actor in regards to superhero media? Because Wolverine steals his girl, and then he gets killed in the X-Men franchise, and people don't know why like Cyclops got written out of the X-Men series. It's because James Marsden jumped ship to DC, and just out of sheer petty spite, they killed his character off. That's why he dies in the first 3 minutes of Last Stand.
Yeah.
And then he goes over to DC, and then Superman fucks his girlfriend. And it's like, what is it with this guy? And just having fucking super heroes.
He's the love interest of Lois in Superman Returns.
Yeah, I was thinking I'm pretty sure the last thing I saw, I'm sure it's James Marsden in, was that TV show Dead to Me, where he gets killed off.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's a proper shot. And then in Enchanted, where his girlfriend, the guy from Grey's Anatomy.
Edward.
Could you? I'm sorry, but could you just could you?
He does get to hang out with Sonic though.
He does, yeah. And have you seen he's done that twice? He's in Hop. And there are two screenshots of James Marsden in a police car with an anthropomorphic animal. And it's that thing of if I had a nickel for all the times James Marsden's been in a police car with an anthropomorphic animal in a movie, that I have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird it happened twice. And just the fact that those 2 screenshots can go side by side, and these are 2 different movies, and the only difference is that James Marsden is just. But in the second one, with Sonic, he's just more at home with the situations that I've been here before.
Is anyone surprised that Wolverine is more popular than Cyclops? Because one of them can heal and has massive metal claws, and the other has eye beams.
And what's the thing though? Because Cyclops' powers are really interesting. So that the comics never want to explain how they work. So the moment that they do, you get guys like me on the internet well, what about this? So there's been 2 in-universe explanations of how his powers work, and the first one kind of makes sense. It's that his body is a living organic battery that absorbs ambient energy from the environment, which spills out through his eyes. Which that makes sense, right? It doesn't make sense in our world, but in the X-Men universe where people can teleport and read minds and walk through walls and shit. But they decided that's not cool enough. So what they did is in a later comic they retconned that, saying actually no, that makes too much sense. Here's what actually happens. And mysterious third person off camera is they know what I'm gonna say. And do you know what I'm about to say?
Yeah, we've talked about this.
Okay,
it's stupid
do
as
you know?
fuck.
I don't know.
Okay, so Cyclops does not absorb energy and then expel it through his eyes. His eyes are actually, I shit you not, a portal to another dimension, the existence of which is known only to a few, and nobody knows where it is, that is filled with near unlimited kinetic energy that expels through Scott's eyes.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's not that he fires beams of energy out of his eyes that is metabolized by his body. It's that his eyes are a gateway into another dimension.
Basically a portal.
Yeah, but that dimension just so happens to be filled with nothing but red
But
lasers.
beams.
What are his eyelids made from?
Well, that's the thing as well, because that's why it makes no sense. Because then they have to say, well, this energy is infinite and is capable of decimating the universe in which they live. So then they have to explain that way by saying a secondary effect of his mutation is that he's immune to this energy.
It'd be much better if he had indestructible eyelids and then they found a way to use it in a comic.
Well, that's the thing as well, and then they say him being immune to that is kind of silly, because the amount of force he puts out, because this is another thing Nisha might not know. What do you think the energy from his eyes does?
I don't know really. Just explodes things, cut things in half.
Basically that, yeah. Because a lot of people think it's like Superman's eye lasers, where it's heat, it cuts through things like that. And then again, mysteriously just shaking their head.
It's like a pressure washer, isn't it?
It's pure kinetic energy. So it doesn't cut through things through heat or melting it. It's pure concussive kinetic force, which is
It's just the force then.
yes, which has led to fans of Marvel referring to the dimension which houses energy as the punch dimension, because it is just a weird aspect of Marvel reality where just there is an unlimited amount of punches just waiting to come out of Cyclops'
I
eyeballs.
think I've definitely heard that term before.
The punch
I've
dimension is so
definitely heard
scary.
you say that before.
So, what would happen if somebody ended up in that dimension? Would they just get punched from all angles till they
We
die?
don't know because no one's ever tried leaping through his eyes yet.
yeah, Brad, don't you try and go through his eyes.
What we need to do is get Ant-Man to jump in through his eyes and see what happens, because I don't want to go into that dimension. Sounds-
through his eyes though.
Sounds terrifying, doesn't it?
There's just constant punches coming out of them.
You won't be able to get in.
You'd have to have anti-punch technology to work
Yeah,
through.
well that's the thing, some people do have that, because another quirk of Cyclops' powers is that his powers don't work on his brothers. And vice versa, their powers don't work on
Everything
him.
can just be written off.
No,
Is
but-
it because they all have the same kind of power?
No.
So they're all immune to the same kind of energy?
It's a quirk of mutant biology that siblings are immune or have complementary power sets.
That sounds like comic bullshit to fit a particular plot line that they never got rid of.
It's because they want to have his brother punch him in the face, probably, yeah. They also,
His brother just stand in front of his eye beams like, you cannot hurt me.
they also say as well that Cyclops gets tired using his powers, even though he doesn't. Even though the energy is infinite, because he gets tired of opening his eyes.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
Alright, quick fire. Funniest thing that the dimension could have that isn't just kinetic energy.
More Cyclopses. No, I know. Spiders.
Oh, eye spiders.
Ew.
Or wind. Do you want the book in Adam's Family? It's just wind.
Just blood.
I don't know, but that's the thing. Yeah, that's how his powers work. And
Vacuum.
we've not even got to the fact
Sucks things in.
it's like Kirby.
I've got you now, Magneto. Opens his eyes. Gets sucked in.
Yeah, and that's the thing though about Cyclops, because that energy is infinite. The amount of power he's capable of putting out is also infinite.
Imagine being sucked through tiny eyeballs. Just getting compressed into a sausage
No,
shape.
But just think about it.
Nightmare.
There is.
But think about that for a moment though. There is literally infinite kinetic energy hidden behind his eyeballs.
But a pair of little goggles can stop that as well.
Yeah, because also in addition to his powers, the only thing is ruby quartz. And do you know what one thing that always pissed me off? So do you know when you wear sunglasses and there's a little bit, you can see a little bit there? Cyclops is not wearing, when he's wearing his visor he is, he's wearing the visor completely, covers his your field of view. When he's wearing the regular sunglasses, especially as well, they play fast and loose with how when he's wearing the Ray-Ban style glasses. I've had a pair of glasses knocked off my head, being jostled by a crowd. If I knew that if that happened to me, I would obliterate an orphanage.
Just imagine if he's out on the pool and there's a really nice girl and he's like, hello, and lowers his glasses and just blasts her.
It's like that meme, innit, of when you're out with your girl, you got to check someone's power level. It's and obviously it happens all the time in every piece of media he appears in. He loses his goggles. Or someone takes
just
his glasses.
Velma's it.
Yeah. My glasses. I can't defeat Magneto without my glasses.
He'd be more like Johnny Bravo. I cannot be seen without my glasses.
Well, he can, it's just that no one's going to see him because they'll be like dust.
How does he see?
We can see, but everything's apparently red.
Does he have eyeballs?
Yeah, he can see.
Just open your eyes. Now, Scott, I'd like to take you away from here.
So where's this dimension then?
Well, no, it's just his eyes are an aperture. Brad, shut up. Stop. And that's why when they do explain it, they do so in one panel and they never bring it up again.
Yeah.
'Cause these exact kind of questions get asked. Of well, wait, how does he actually say, no, everything's just red, shut up.
It's
Deal with it.
it's just cause. Just cause. They can just
Deal
explain
with
in
it.
a way, yeah.
And it's one of those rare situations as well where the retconned explanation is more bullshit than the original one. Because him just absorbing ambient energy is fine. Because that famous statistic, isn't there? Enough power to power the entire Earth 10 times over hits the Earth every day. Just from the sun alone. You could use that as an explanation. You can have infinite energy because there's always ambient energy. That's no, punch dimension, and then they never mention it ever again. So why did his head fly off the instant he takes off his glass? Always immune to his own powers. So doesn't that mean he should be able to fly? That's all people say Cyclops should be able to fly. So they say he should be able to fly, so he should look at the ground.
Yeah.
So if his body's immune,
Like the Godzilla tech.
yeah, he should be able to do that. theoretically, that's how his powers work. He's immune to, like,
No, don't panic, citizen.
Well, there's even another one. Let's say if he held his hands in front of his eyes, he should be able to, like, fly because he's immune to the thing. So if the backwards propeller would send him.
So is he also immune to the?
He's immune to all. He's immune to everything.
So
everything related to his powers that would hurt him, he's immune to. Which is theoretically, he should be able to fly.
Shut up.
Well, that's the thing, we've not even talked about the fact he's really good at pool, though. That's the thing. That's what the video's about.
And she's laughing because I had a bubble in my throat, so my voice went like that for momentarily.
It's fine. So, right, now we've mentioned all of this, and we've talked about how bullshit powers are in the Marvel Universe. Let's talk about how Cyclops, as a result of his powers, is really good at pool.
So, is it that his beams bounce off surfaces and he's able to calculate that bullshit?
He is, yes. But that's like, Captain America can do that, and they explain that way by, this is true. Captain America is so, beyond what humans can do. His eyes just see better, and he can calculate it in his mind super fast.
We're dumb for sticking with that old trash can lid when you can have this. You missed.
Tony's energy shield may be fancy, but I prefer the classics. This garbage can lid and we go way back.
With Cyclops, it's actually a part of his mutant powers. And this is a trope known as, required secondary superpowers. So, for example, having the strength to lift a building doesn't necessarily mean you have, the durability in your bones to survive holding a building above your head. So, when you're super strong, it is inferred that you are super durable. But sometimes the inverse is not true. You have super durable characters who are not super strong, even though being durable enough to survive being hit by something that, the equivalent of several tons of force should mean you have the strength to lift several tons of force, right? So it's one of those things where they play fast and loose with it in comics.
Yeah, I think the best example is just that Wolverine can't get his claws out without needing to heal the wounds because his claws go through his skin.
Yeah, or you have speedsters where they can run really fast. Running really fast is great, but required secondary powers that have really good reflexes. So, running fast is one thing, but if you ran at the speed of light with human reflexes, you'd immediately splat into a wall. But they never really talk about how, say, for example, the Flash has really good reflexes. They always talk about his super speed. It's just inferred that he's able to react at that speed, even though that in itself is a superpower.
So, what's the secondary power for Cyclops?
Well, I've got the exact word here.
No.
It's fucking bullshit. He has a innate superhuman sense of spatial awareness and geometry. So part of his
Hanzo.
So part of his mutant powers is that he has an innate awareness of everything in his environment, which allows him to just unerringly ricochet his lasers off of any surface imaginable. So that's not something he gains through training. That's just something he's able to do because his powers say that he can.
I know you're going to tell me to shut up again, but
okay.
If his eyes open a portal to another dimension,
yes.
How does his mutation know that he is going to be using that to produce eye beams in combat?
Shut up. And that's it, and that's why it's so funny. But they say, his part of his power set is that he has an innate understanding of how his powers. It's like with Nightcrawler, he can teleport.
Yeah.
It's he can teleport anywhere. A secondary power he has is the ability to know whether you're going to teleport into a brick wall, for example. And he talks about it in the movies, doesn't he? He's like, unless I can see where I'm going, I might teleport into a wall. And that's sort of he has the ability to transfer, characters who can fly super fast. It's they have the ability to hold their breath because you can't breathe when you're traveling at 1,000 miles an hour, for example.
Was this a bullshit retcon after they'd shown him using his ability in ridiculous ways, rebound off walls too many times?
It's more that they just said that he has an innate understanding of it because it's beyond the limits of what you could do, just understanding basic geometry. Because he does it on a whim. Sometimes falling through the air, for example. And they just thought it gets even out in the live action movies, don't they? Well, Jean Grey positions the thing in front of me, ricochets through his own visor to hit something. It's just a thing he has the innate ability to do, and it's really funny that just as a side effect of that, he's really good at other things that would require you to have a very good understanding of geometry, spacing, and
so he doesn't use
physics.
There's me sat here thinking he uses his beams to play snooker. I'm assuming that's
no, he doesn't do that. No, but because his powers give him a really good understanding of how physics interacts with geometry. He's
picturing bending over and opening.
So now, I thought
Is that what you thought he was doing?
I was gonna say, well, how does the kinetic?
Did you think he
energy
just
not
plays
split?
snooker like Jiren? Just plays snooker with his fucking eyeballs.
I was just like, how are they not splitting the balls in half? Like the kinetic energy, how is it not like?
No, it's because his powers. Part of his power set is that he can understand geometry and physics so well that he's really good at pool. And it was like a nod to that in I think it's the X-Men anime where he's playing Wolverine at pool and he just goes boom and just pops like 8 balls at one more. No! Why do I always bet with you, Cyclops? This sucks ass. Why do we always bet on pool? I always lose.
I think last time I played pool was in GTA San Andreas, and I can't do it. Not in real life, in San Andreas, because I got that trilogy recently. I was like, you know what, I'm going to go to the pub and play some pool.
Did you try wiggling your car side to side to make it real big?
Wait, was that a bug?
It was a bug, yeah, we talked about it previously.
Well, I'm playing this on Nintendo Switch, so...
Definitely do it on the Switch. Imagine like a car the size of your screen on Switch. Oh man, we shouldn't have had like 4 beers before recording it, but we're talking about superheroes and specifically the X-Men, and we've not mentioned the thing we always mention when we talk about the X-Men. Do you know what we're talking about, Brad? What do I always mention when the X-Men comes up? There's one thing, and I've not put the clip in yet. Do you not remember?
You mention a lot.
Yeah, but whenever the
Give
X-Men
me the first
comes up-
letter.
Okay, so when the X-Men come, I always talk about the theme song. But
Oh,
then-
of course, yeah.
But then I'll always say something
The
else.
Japanese
The
theme.
Japanese one, yes! If anyone's ever wondered why Japanese TV shows have just theme songs that go so fucking hard, it's because over in Japan, apparently it's kind of a big deal to score a TV show. So they'll get actual bands in and they try their best to do a good song. Whereas over in America, especially from the X-Men, a kids cartoon, it's like, oh fuck it, do it yourself. And I think it's they just get in-house people to do it. But when it's over in Japan, it's they get an actual band in, and that's why the Japanese X-Men soundtrack goes so fucking hard. It's a real band who are, well, of course we want to do the X-Men soundtrack. That's awesome.
I've always wondered why, I don't know whether you'll know, but Japanese themes often alternate between Japanese and English. Why?
I wouldn't want to say for sure, but I wrote an article for Today I Found Out a few years ago, Joe, about the phenomenon of Japanese text appearing on English t-shirts, Superdry stuff.
Yeah.
And that was inspired, the guy who made Superdry was inspired by the opposite happening when he was in Japan, where a lot of Japanese clothing manufacturers would use English typography on their clothing, despite not knowing what it means. People have seen that online of, t-shirts in Asian countries with English text on them that says stuff like, fuck you or something like that, and kids are wearing it. And they wear it for the aesthetic value because they like how clean and just simple English typeface is. And conversely, over here, we like how complex and interesting kanji looks when it's on a t-shirt. So I imagine maybe it's an element of that, of English just sounds better. No, I won't say better, but it has a distinct sound to it that people like, even if they don't understand it. The same way that, when you listen to an anime intro or you're watching Dragon Ball, for example, it sounds better when it's subbed instead of dubbed.
I mean, anime intros are just top tier. Every anime intro I've heard is just
and that's because they get actual bands in who see it as a badge of honour to work on a show instead of just getting just some industry fucking jobbers to do it who just see it as a paycheck. They see it as this is a good thing. We're working on something that thousands, millions of people are going to enjoy. Why would we not give it our all?
There's something I've seen as well. It's a bit off topic, but it's it keeps popping up on YouTube. Is Dragon Ball Z Orchestra, and you just sit in a theatre while people play proper orchestra to Dragon Ball scenes, and it just looks so cool. I bet it just gives you so many goosebumps.
So. No! So I'm going to say, in that vein then, let's go for what intro for a show goes the hardest. So we guys understand. So I'll start, I open the floor with the Japanese X-Men cartoon.
Yep.
It goes so hard. It's more fun as well. Like, they re-edited the intro as well, and it's real. And I don't remember, like, you know, the original X-Men cartoon or whatever, but I'm pretty sure they don't fight monsters. Well, you have, like, Magneto, like, obliterating monsters in that intro.
I'm going to go honourable mention for the One Punch Man theme.
Say that one.
Which version, though?
The first one.
But, like, you know, in English or in Japanese?
No, I prefer the Japanese one. I think it just sounds better.
It just goes... Like,
I have no idea what half the lyrics are, but it sounds better.
Well, you know one, don't you? That's all you need! That's it, you only need one. And you know what? That's quite meta, because what does Saitama need? One punch! So yeah, this one also got copyright strike. So instead of the actual intro, here's a brief montage of YouTubers that you can find linked below also singing the intro. Unless they decide to copyright strike me. But if you're hearing this, they didn't. So, yay!
What does Cyclops need? Punch dimension! But
Two eyes!
The one that got me the most was the rumbling one in Attack on Titan.
Which is that the first one? What's that?
No, it's the one when it's season 4 part 1. It was one of them, but the one that's the rumbling.
The big clips of all these in. Yeah.
Rumbling, it's coming. That one.
Still think that I still get chills when I watch that opening intro to the original Attack on Titan season. It's like where it's like the orchestral thing, and then it comes like dun 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 dun.
Is it the one that's like
And it speaks as well to the quality of that intro, that it has not been ruined by Team 4 Star's like attempted like dubbing of it. Because like the Team 4 Star, how do people not know? If you're watching this, you know Team 4 Star is the Dragon Ball Z abridged. They also did Attack on Titan abridged, and then they got copyright struck to oblivion, so only did one episode. But just for the intro, like duh, 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 you lose that fucking shit. It's so good.
Yeah, this is the first Attack on Titan project we'll be able to...
Oh, shit!
I just...
One Nisha.
One in my mind is... Because I've got it on my playlist, because I've got the rock cover version.
Oh, yes.
The Power Rangers theme.
Oh. Do you know,
Go Power Rangers.
The guy who did that, he's like something like Bruce Wasserman or something like that. He re-released all the original songs. Like re-recorded, and it's all like Feel the Power. And he did like the one that I didn't realize went as hard as it is like Go Green Ranger.
Oh yeah.
It's like Go Green Ranger, go!
See, I really like the Turbo one, even though like I fell off a bit. Yeah.
The space one.
Yeah, it's like mysterious voice off camera. Like you must have like one. Do you have an intro that goes hard out of nowhere?
The 90s Spider-Man theme.
Yeah.
It's just shredding and someone saying Spider-Blood, really well.
Yeah. And in that vein, I'm going to say like the one that I love is just the Iron Man one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's more. It just starts like fucking Tony Stark, boom, like just fucking hammering away at the anvil.
Very visceral.
Yeah, it's so good.
There's one I've got on my playlist. I have not seen the anime, but I think it's a Transformers anime. And that's saved on one of my playlists because it came up and it was so good. It's like, is it Evo? Transformers, something like that. If you put this bit in, I'll send you the link.
Send the link, yeah.
I really like the because I did this for one of the quizzes we did where I was like guess the cartoon intros. Batman Beyond. I really like that.
Yeah. That one's so good. It's just 45 seconds of just like the guitar. It's like that guy's like hammering that whammy bar. His girlfriend must be very happy. Like that whammy bar is getting some fucking tender in. Let's go. Like the fingering is beginning.
So this clip got copyright struck, so here's me doing the theme song with my voice. Wow, 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 wow.
Well, he's so always off like intros where you think like, I don't know, like Parks and Rec. Dun dun, dun dun. And then he's like, oh, let's go look at this like kids cartoon. It's like, yeah, like what?
The US Office.
Yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, that's kind of neat. It's like what are they doing for like this X-Men cartoon for kids? It's like an entire fucking band in the studio headbanging.
Someone's just pressing one note for The Office.
That's what annoys me about that. It's like the idea that kids media or media aimed at children or young adults, it seems being so like disposable. They go so much harder for the intro. I want to see someone go that hard for the intros like The Office. What time are we on?
20 seconds.
In which case,
Wrap it up.
Cheers!